This one's called Amish Paradise. This is a little project. I'll show you it later. Made in kindergarten. This is not notes, it's a lesson plan. Hello and good evening to you all. My name is Lothar, for those of you who don't know me. This is my first time at the Bear Tavern. And there's a lot less burly gay dudes than I was expecting. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm not swearing. It's Christmas time, so I can say his name. I drove all the way up from Baltimore, and it was a long drive, and I had to like stop to pee like 6 times. Thank goodness for Wawa.
Yeah.
I think they should have just called it Wee Wee. But I was at Wawa, and you have that sort of like display in the center of Wawa where they have all the on-the-go foods, you know, like the wrap in a plastic box that's been there for a couple days, and a cup of cut fruit that doesn't really make any sense to me, but you know, whatever. And something caught my eye, and I had to buy it because I'm just that sort of person. It says squeeze. It's applesauce in an IV bag.
My daughter loves them.
Exactly, for that toddler that's always on the go. You're driving around the city, working his smartphone. He doesn't have an extra hand to go be spooning applesauce. So he's just like... Actually, that's not bad. Save that for later. Makes it a little rum. Anyway, so I got here about an hour or so ago, and I was about a quarter mile from here, and my car broke down.
Oh.
So I had to call my enormous network of friends whose phone numbers I have in New Jersey, which amounted to 2 of them. Hi Loretta, hi Joe Bots.
Hey, I called you. Because I posted his number.
So
you got 3.
my car is sitting at a gas station.
The BP.
Not, you know me, or those who know me. I always ride the positive wave, see the bright side of everything. So, it'll take care of itself. I don't care. So anyway, where was I?
At a gas station?
Check your license plate.
Wawa? Before that.
Now we're friends. Everybody's thinking it.
Sorry, I'm coming.
It's like you've done this. Let's see. So I'm a teacher. I'm a history teacher. Say hello to my teacher peeps out there. Colbers, Gina, Shane.
Now you're not the paper.
So when people, I mentioned I was going to do this, and people were asking me like, "Are you nervous?" That's like talking in front of a big crowd of people. And I was like, "You kidding? I do that every day." The only difference this time is I'm not hammered. Let me take this off because it's freaking hot in here. Apparently the fire marshal has never been here.
Now he is.
Tie next.
Your priorities.
Different party shade.
So,
comes later. It's empty.
what did I want to talk to you guys about? Neckties. I'm wearing a necktie, and because, well, I'm going to tell you a bunch of jokes about neckties, and as my teachers know, you got to provide both an auditory and a visual stimulus for the multiple challenges in the room. So hey guys. So I am wearing a tie, and I really hate ties. I think they're the stupidest fucking piece of clothing ever designed. So I wanted to tell you a little bit of history about ties before I get into why I hate ties so much. See, the necktie was invented in about 1850 in England by some douchebag. So he had a great idea for a piece of clothing that had no purpose. And the tie, quickly spread the United States and became popular, much like a lot of other bad English ideas like English language and racism, a bunch of other things I can't even remember.
Taxes.
I happen to like taxes. So the first American president to ever wear a tie was Teddy Roosevelt. And he was the first to do a lot of things. He was the first to drive in a car, the first to ride in a submarine, the first to punch a grizzly bear in the nads. And ever since then, every president is pictured wearing a tie in his portrait. Although Bill Clinton was wearing his wrapped around his penis. And of course, Obama's tie came from Kenya. Sorry, that's going to be my only political joke tonight, I promise.
The one I didn't get.
Anyway. Anyway, I really hate ties. Especially the job I have right now. I mean, teachers generally, they kind of encourage you to wear a tie, but I work with a particular group of kids, and juvenile delinquents. And I'm not talking like, oh, they're in a bad neighborhood, juvenile delinquents. I mean, these kids are seriously criminals. They were went in front of a judge and they were sent to my school. And you think about it, well, if I'm going to be standing around with a bunch of criminals who obviously have problems with anger management and authority figures, do I really want to be wearing this noose around my neck? And, and it's not so much the idea of being choked by one of my students with my own tie that really gets to me. It's some of my kids are sex offenders. So if one of them starts choking me with my own tie and starts whacking off while doing it, that's going to really ruin my day. Yeah, I did. Okay. So this particular tie I'm wearing, it's the only reason I like this tie is because, well, it displays the Battle of Baltimore from the War of 1812 and the Star-Spangled Banner. And I like it because the War of 1812 is my favorite war. And I have reasons I'll explain. First of all, in case you're not familiar with the War of 1812, like most Americans, then you probably don't know it was a war between the United States and the British, the makers of bad ties and stuff like that. And it was started for many reasons. The principal among them was that the British kept capturing American seamen and putting them to work on British vessels. So, yeah.
Seaman. Hey-oh. Vessels.
So, what fascinates me most about the War of 1812 is that the names of the individuals involved are awesome. So, like, I was reading books and just like every guy involved, there's Peters and Johnsons and Wilcoxes and Woods, and I'm sure if there's probably some like Corporal von Schlong involved too somehow. But every single one is like phallic in some way or another. And if you know me, you know how much I love phalluses. But the best name of all among the War of 1812 people is George Cockburn. Let me. Rear Admiral George Cockburn. Let me tell you a little about Admiral Cockburn. Admiral Cockburn was a British Navy admiral, and he sailed up and down the Chesapeake Bay for 2 years, just pillaging and plundering, capturing people, and then he even burned Washington, D.C. to the ground. Now, I know some of you guys say, what's wrong with that? Sorry, I guess that was too political. Yeah, he burned Washington, D.C. to the ground. So he really lived up to his name. He was both a total dick and he liked to burn shit. So, you know, he got this, you know, Cockburn, you know, let me tell you, his commanding officer, Admiral Cochrane. There was even a ship in his fleet called the HMS, I shit you not, Cockchafer. They must have been on that ship a long time. It was very dry.
He wasn't there on the top.
So, Admiral Cockburn, after burning D.C., was just, you know, swollen with pride and very cocky. He was feeling very cocky. So he decided he wanted to do the same thing to Baltimore. So he planned this two-pronged attack.
Double penetration.
Exactly.
And the movie.
You see, General George Ross, who was the commander of the British Army contingent, was on land, and his soldiers were like grizzled veterans that had been hardened by the Napoleonic Wars, and they were going to take Baltimore by the land. Meanwhile, Admiral Cockburn was going to move his fleet through the back door of Baltimore Harbor. Now, everything was going according to plan, but Ross ran up with some really stiff resistance from the Baltimore defenders. But he kept coming and coming. But unfortunately, Ross was shot by a sniper and he went down, and his army just like their morale just went completely limp and they retreated. Out in the bay though, Admiral Cockburn's fleet was just pounding at Baltimore's rear for all day and all night. And it wasn't for the fearless defenders at Fort McHenry. Admiral Cockburn was unable to penetrate their defenses. So he decided to withdraw, and he sailed out of Baltimore Harbor, and you know what? A few months later, the war ended. And after that, American seamen no longer had to fear the British Navy. And that's the story of our national anthem. Now, I want to end on a positive note because, you know, I'm Lothar, and that's what I do. And I mentioned that part about me at the beginning, my car breaking down. You know, and it's not so bad that my car broke down. You know, you always got to think that there's always somebody out there who's got it worse than you. So I brought this little newspaper headline that it's very inspiring to me. And whenever I think about it, I think, well, let me just show you. Gordon Ramsay's dwarf porn double found dead in a Badger den in Wales.
Wait, say it again. I didn't catch you.
Gordon Ramsay's dwarf porn double found dead in a badger den in Wales. Now you notice the big picture is Gordon Ramsay, and the really little tiny picture is actually the guy who died.
Kind of funny.
So I want all of you to remember this. If you're ever feeling down and you think just things can't get any worse than this, there's two things you can always remember. One, I'm not dead in a badger den in Wales. And two, my face is not on the front page of a newspaper next to the words dwarf porn.